Up next,
we're trying to preserve life and property. It's not about fireworks.
Fireworks shows and fireworks complaints making for a memorable Great Falls 4th of July. And a judge setting a new bail for George Zimmerman. Those stories and more right now on Fox 5 News at 9.
Your first local news at 9 starts right now, only on Fox 5 at 9.
Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Emily Scarlett. It has been a busy week for many area fire departments in Great Falls. 24 fire calls happened yesterday alone. Most of them small grass fires started by people shooting off fireworks. Fox 5's Dan Courts has been talking with firefighters today about the busy holiday period. Dan, what'd you find out?
Emily, as fun as yesterday was for many, there were some not so pleasant moments. But Chief Steve Hester at the Great Falls Fire Rescue said while busy, it was nothing out of his department's control.
While 99% of those who set off fireworks yesterday did so responsibly, there was 1% who had their share of mishaps. But the Great Falls Fire and Rescue team was on top of it.
Well, it appears that we had about 41 calls for service. 23 of those were fires. A lot of those were small grass fires that didn't really cause a lot of damage, not a lot of fire loss. But it required us to go out there and put the fire out because it was threatening structures or something of that nature. Since fireworks were actually legal on the 2nd of July, I kind of have some stats for that. Looks like we had about 53 calls for service on the 2nd and 3rd of July. 7 of those were working fires. Again, most of those were caused by fireworks.
Chief Hester also thanked the volunteer firefighters from Black Eagle, Vaughn, Maelstrom, and the Montana International Guard for making the operation a smooth one. As what they were capable of doing, they did. And as a result, it made it a seamless operation all around.
Chief Hester also wants to remind everyone that fireworks within city limits is no longer legal in Great Falls. Back to you, Emily.
Thanks a lot, Dan. Now moving into weather, meteorologist Nicole Langley is here with the first look at our forecast.
Good evening. Well, we had a plume of desert monsoonal moisture come into Great Falls and gave us cloudy conditions. Now, that also hindered our daytime heatings, but as we get into the overnight hours, we'll be nice and mild. And I'll have more on how warm we can expect conditions to continue tonight on your Weather Authority.
Thanks a lot, Nicole. The 4th of July has come and gone for yet another year, but it's left its mark mostly in large, empty parking lots. Fox 5's Rachel Osley has been checking into firework cleanup.
According to Great Falls City Ordinance, anyone on someone else's private property must clean up their detonated fireworks.
A lot of people go to a public parking lot at a store, set off their fireworks, and leave the mess there. It's not fair to the store owners, and they also pay a $100 fine.
Leaving behind fireworks is littering. Fines begin at $100 and can reach $1,000 for repeat offenses.
Ever since I can remember, since I was a young girl coming here, tons of people use it. People that don't actually often patronize the businesses that were in the building use the parking lot.
Businesses like It'll Do Lounge have no problem with their customers using the parking lot for 4th of July festivities, but it can be costly.
It's a drain to our employees and resources to pull our attention away from what we're supposed to be doing.
In addition to fines for violating city ordinance, it could hurt business to leave an unattractive mess in the parking lot.
It's important to us that our place looks good.
And now that It'll Do is the only business left in Westgate Mall, they feel responsible for a lot more parking lot than before. Cleaning crews were there this morning, but had to come back to finish the massive task.
Last year, it took 3 employees 8 hours to do.
Some businesses do not mind people watching the fireworks display from their lot, but do ask you not set any of your own fireworks off. It'll Do simply asks that you clean up after yourself.
So you have your own little localized area, so it's 2 seconds to sweep it up and beyond. You don't have to do the entire parking lot. That's not what we're asking.
In Great Falls, Rachel Osley, Fox 5.
Thanks, Rachel. And leftover firework debris is not just unattractive, it's also dangerous. There are tons of chemicals that can be dangerous to an unsuspecting animal thinking the trash is a snack. Now, despite the ban on fireworks in Lewis and Clark County, many were still lighting off fireworks last night. The Lewis and Clark Sheriff's Department says they responded to 59 firework complaints yesterday and 8 illegal campfires, but no citations were issued because people stopped using them after receiving a warning. The county only received 26% of normal moisture during the month of June.
We're trying to preserve life and property. It's not about fireworks. And it was difficult to make fireworks illegal over the 4th of July, but it was to preserve life and property. That's why it happened.
Currently, the county is under a Stage 1 fire restriction, which bans fireworks and campfires. But as of 6 o'clock tonight, that ban on campfires was lifted. Fires must be in a proper pit, no bigger than 48 inches in diameter. But Sheriff Dutton warns you'll still be responsible if a campfire leads to a wildfire. A Havre teenager is dead after an early morning rollover. The Montana Highway Patrol confirms that 18-year-old Jaden Griggs was pronounced dead on the scene in the early morning hours. Troopers say Griggs lost control of his vehicle and was fully ejected. The accident occurred southwest of Havre on 82nd Avenue West. Griggs was traveling southbound when the vehicle hit an approach, entered a ditch, bolted, and rolled at least 2 times. A 19-year-old male passenger has been hospitalized. MHP says speed was a factor. It is unknown if alcohol was involved. Neither Griggs or his passenger were wearing seatbelts. Only minor problems to report around Great Falls last night. This traffic accident on the 15th Street Bridge was one of those problems. The Ford vehicle crash tied up traffic for quite a while after the city's fireworks display ended. Despite quite a bit of damage to the vehicles, nobody was seriously hurt. 3 teenagers are transported to the hospital after a rollover in Helena. Montana Highway Patrol tells us an SUV was traveling southbound on Frontage Road just off the interstate near Munger Road. The driver, 17-year-old Dominique Calero, said she was avoiding a deer and the car flipped into a ditch. Dominique and 2 14-year-old passengers were taken to St. Peter's with minor injuries. The driver was cited for not wearing a seatbelt. The city of Shelby took a leap of faith and bought the closed down and boarded up Rainbow Hotel. And their determination to bring development to the area has paid off. Fox 5's Ashley Rodriguez has details on a new grant they'll be receiving. Ashley, how did Shelby acquire grant money for the hotel?
The historic Rainbow Hotel initially closed down because it's contaminated by lead and mold, preventing it from being redeveloped into the great hotel it once was. Shelby's government decided to take over the lease and apply for a grant from the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency to help clean it up and get it to market.
The Rainbow Hotel shuttered its windows about 12 years ago because of lead, mold, and asbestos contamination, but the city of Shelby is bringing it back to life.
Rainbow Hotel in Shelby, Montana, waiting to be restored.
Shelby has been awarded $200,000 by the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency to clean up the contamination and redevelop it by attracting investors.
It could go from a bed and breakfast to a restaurant to condominiums to office space, whatever the development plans are.
Development is taking place throughout Shelby. A new Best Western is being built, Comfort Inn is expanding, and wind energy is expected to bring $1.5 billion worth of wind farms to Toole County.
Components for the wind towers are coming from 21 different countries all over the world, all converging on Shelby, Montana, where this staging area is used to put them in their components, put them together, so then trucks move them from here up to the Rimrock project.
The new wind energy industry is cited by the older profit makers, agriculture, oil and gas, railroad, and electricity, who all transport supplies through Shelby. Bunderroot says the city sees on average 1,600 semis a day and is building a transloading facility to move supplies from trucks to trains. The amount of workers brought into the city for these projects, along with summer tourism, is moving their economy.
So we have a lot of workers in the area working on the wind farm and working on the Metal Power Line, as well as we have a citywide curb and gutter and sidewalk project, a lot of new homes being built in the area. So we're real excited about our community's future and what's going on.
The Rainbow Hotel should be on the market by next March. The mayor says it could be used as a hotel or business office. The town of 4,000 may be small, but it's not sleepy and working every day to attract investors. Emily, back to you.
Thanks, Ashley. Yet another update in the controversial Zimmerman case. The man who shot and killed Trayvon Martin can now be released on bail for the second time. A Florida judge setting bail at $1 million for George Zimmerman. He's the neighborhood watch volunteer who says he killed the unarmed teen in self-defense. Last month, Zimmerman's bail was revoked after prosecutors said he hid more than $100,000 he raised for his legal defense fund. The protection from the sun that you get in a bottle may soon be in the form of a pill. British researchers found the idea for sunscreen in a pill underwater. They found coral has its own natural barrier to UV radiation. An implant called Sines is in FDA trials. It uses hormones to increase melanin in your skin, which blocks UV rays. The Senesce implant is at least 2 years away from getting on the market. The pills are still in development and are at least 5 years away from being available to the public. Well, that seems like a pretty convenient change to having a rub lotion all over your body, so sounds pretty good, right?
It does, it does. And you know, if it's in pill form, take it. If it's in lotion form, put it on.
Just use it.
Especially if, like today, the sun really wasn't that shining, but you want to continue to use that sunblock.
I'm hoping that sun's coming back, though, right?
It is,
Okay.
it is.
Good
That
to
was
hear.
monsoonal moisture that we saw out there that kept the clouds in place, but I will have more on will the sun come back. You're right. So we'll leave you now with today's U.S. highs. We're back after the break.
Your Weather Authority forecast continues right now on Fox 5 at 9.
Thanks for sticking around for your weather authority. Now, if you look outside on our tower cam, where the clouds are still hanging around, but as the night progresses, they will start to move on over to the east. Now, let's take a look at our Great Falls current conditions. We're at 75, just a little bit cooler than what we were a couple hours ago. The winds are out of the south at 9 miles an hour, and we have a steady barometer. Now, all that monsoonal moisture that gave us a cloud coverage, that is going to move off to the east for later tonight. Now, 61 in Lewistown, 72 Havre, 75 in Great Falls, 73 in Helena. It's still pretty warm out there. It's 65 degrees in Bozeman, and it's a bit cooler there because they just had a rain shower and cooled things off just a little bit. But we have east winds in Havre, 14 miles an hour, south winds in Great Falls at 9. I don't expect the winds will be all that strong for tonight. They'll stay about 5 to 15 miles per hour for the duration of our evening. Now, here's all this monsoonal moisture is coming up from the south, and that's what kept the clouds in place. But this is going to gradually move over to the east and into Dakotas, where some flooding concerns will be evident. Now, as we get into tonight, mostly clear skies, and those clear skies will last through tomorrow. Look at the state satellite and radar. The showers have come to an end around Bozeman. We didn't see anything here in Great Falls. We just saw the clouds around. But in central Montana, a few scattered returns. Everything was fairly light. None of this really even hit the ground. So here's our jet stream forecast. This is what's going on aloft at the upper levels. Now we're going to see a ridge of high pressure that will start to build in with a fury for the next couple of days, and that will set us on a warming trend. I'm talking 80s and 90s. This ridge will stay with us, and this will actually allow more monsoonal moisture to enter in to the Treasure State for the next couple of days. I'm not expecting it to be as much as today, but we're going to keep those thunderstorm chances in the forecast as this ridge allows for that to occur. Now, here's our futurecast models. We're going to see initially the clouds, but then we'll start to see all this energy move over to the east, clearing things out quite nicely, quite dramatically. It was cloudy in Kalispell, Missoula, not so much. The clouds have dissipated, and once again, we're dealing with starry conditions. Now, for tomorrow, like I said, a little bit of monsoonal moisture can redevelop into the Treasure State, but I'm going to call about a 20 to 30% chance of that happening across central Montana. Now, here's a futurecast closer to home. That energy is going to move out to the east, leaving behind mostly clear skies as we head into the dawn hours. Less cloud coverage for tomorrow than what we saw today. Let's look at some forecasts. 50 Lewistown, 55 for Benton, 54 in Great Falls, 52 in Stanford. Daytime highs tomorrow, we're looking for 80s across the board. Across the Rocky Mountain front, 40s and 50s. It's going to be a quiet night, just a couple of clouds around. 70s and 80s across the board. And then as we get into the high line, 60s and 50s. It's going to be a warm night. Daytime highs are going to be in the 80s and 90s for tomorrow. Here's a Great Falls 70 outlook, 85 tomorrow.
Coming up, a much-anticipated show goes oh so wrong. Why not break out and dance on your daily commute and move over, Vera Wang? Jessica Simpson's jumping on the wedding fashion bandwagon. That's in tonight's entertainment update, up next on Fox 5. The late Amy Winehouse set to hit the charts again. Jessica dabbles in fashion and a star-studded event taking over the Capitol West Lawn in honor of Independence Day. That's in tonight's entertainment update. The late Amy Winehouse collaborated with Nas on the track Cherry Wine, which will appear on the rapper's 10th studio album scheduled for release July 17th. According to In Touch Weekly, new mommy Jessica Simpson planning to launch her own line of wedding gowns. A source close to Jessica tells the magazine that a bridal line is something she's always wanted to do. The announcement comes just as the 32-year-old star is gearing up for her own nuptials with fiancé Eric Johnson. The Stars celebrate Independence Day, the event hosted by Dancing with the Stars host Tom Bergenron. The hour-and-a-half show featured a variety of performances, including some Fox stars like American Idol winner Philip Phillips and Glee actress Amber Riley. And, of course, to top off the night, an extravagant fireworks show. And that's your entertainment update. Those hoping to get some nice shots of the fireworks show in San Diego last night were sorely disappointed. If you weren't quick enough, you probably missed the entire show. That's because before the show was supposed to start, it was all over. The fireworks were supposed to go off at 9 p.m., but because of some electrical glitch, they went off before 9. To make matters worse, they all went off at the same time. And the scheduled 18-minute Big Bay Boom show lasted for only a minute. Some 50,000 people gathered to watch the show. Show producers have apologized, and they're still trying to figure out what went wrong. As London gears up for this year's Olympics, the host city giving daily commuters something to dance about. London Mayor Boris Johnson launching Big Dance 2012 as its celebration of the city's rich culture and precursor to the excitement London wants to bring the big games happening in 3 weeks. Dance company Zoo Nation poking fun at daily commuters during rush hour. Big Dance officially kicks off Saturday and will include thousands of events across the UK. It's set to be the UK's largest dance celebration. And we'll be right back with sports.
Total sports coverage. Fox 5 Sports starts right now.
What a pitcher's duel out at Centene Stadium tonight between the hosting Voyagers and the visiting Missoula Osprey. Great Falls trying to hold on to a share of first place in the Pioneer League North Division. Jonathan Casey taking on Osprey ace Andrew Barbosa. Let's go to the ballpark. Beautiful evening at the Electric City's ballpark. The big ace, Barbosa on the bump, ready to face the first place Voyagers. Barbosa would prove to be too much for the home team in this one, mowing down Voyagers seemingly left and right as he would collect 4 Ks. Casey would go on 6 1/3 innings with 4 Ks of his own, and he would pitch into the 7th inning, the longest for the Voyagers pitchers, any of them. They trail right now at Centene 5-2 in the 8th inning.
You know, I like the way we're playing right now. We're down in ball games, but I don't feel like we're out. It doesn't matter what the score is, and these guys are fighting. They're getting better. They're making the adjustments. It's fun to watch right now.
Now the Missoula Osprey have signed their 8th-round draft pick outfielder Evan Marzilli, who made his first start last night. Marzilli played for the 2-time national champion South Carolina Gamecocks. Last year, Marzilli hit a measly .284 with 32 RBIs and had a team-high 13 stolen bases. The Osprey, they hope Marzilli brings his winning reputation to the squad, as he has either played for a national or state championship for the past 5 seasons.
I've been extremely blessed to, win a bunch of times, but yeah, it was a lot of fun. But I know this is a new ball game here, and all that stuff gets wiped away, and you don't really, everyone's even here. So, it was cool to win before, but I know I got a whole new challenge ahead of me.
And finally, to some people, 8 seconds is a short amount of time, but to a professional bull rider, riding an athletic 2,200-pound beast feels like an eternity. Our own ABC's Jeff Everly shows you the struggles and joys of what some call the most dangerous thing in sports.
The bull had knocked me out, ripped my ear part way off, fractured my eye socket. I broke some ribs, hyperextended my knee really bad, but the worst part of it was he ruptured my spleen, so I was bleeding internally severely.
After sustaining those injuries, doctors told Cannon AC he would never ride again. He was back on a bull in 2 months. Jacob Omar rode his bull with a broken wrist, because pain is something all bull riders deal with.
You got to be strong mentally to block the pain out and to not let it bother you and to just slide up and go with it and go with the flow. But, I mean, pain's something we deal with, on the regular.
Besides the injuries, the travel schedule is crazy. After riding in Red Lodge, Cannon drove to Livingston to compete on the same night. Just listen to his future road trips.
Tomorrow night we ride in Cody, Wyoming, and then we drive from there and go to Window Rock, Arizona. And then the next night on the 6th, we ride in Oakley City, Utah. And then we're going to fly to Springdale, Arkansas. And then we have, I think, 3 days off, and then we have a whole nother slew of rodeos.
These cowboys have a passion for what they do. As Cannon said, they're just living the dream.
It's something I've always dreamed of doing and something I love to do. So going down the road rodeoing is what we do for a living.
Not everybody gets to travel for a living and get to experience what we do and meet as many good people and, you know, be at these beautiful places and these great rodeos.
Reporting in Livingston, Jeff Everly, Fox 5 Sports.
Great work by Jeff. Outstanding. You know, and the Voyagers, that game is winding down. They're in the 8th inning. They're trailing 5-2, and it was a pretty good pitchers duel going on over there.
But if they're trailing, are we talking losing that 5-game winning streak?
Well, you know, it all depends on what happens in the Brewers Mustang contest as well that's going on. So they're currently tied for the top spot in the North Division of the Pioneer League league, but. Hopefully they can hold on and come back and come away with a W to keep that win streak going.
But there was something to keep the crowd happy at tonight's game,
You better
right?
believe it, man. A couple 25-cent hot dogs that they brought back here to the station. I got something for you in the office as well. But,
Sounds good to me, Jerry.
You know, it's always fun at Centene Stadium, that's for sure.
All right, thanks a lot, Jerry. We'll be right back after this. So did you all see some good fireworks last night?
Oh, yeah, we definitely saw some fireworks right outside the station, as a matter of fact.
It was
actually pretty bright out
Yeah, it was great to be able to see the fireworks across the city. I really enjoyed it. And cities across the U.S. were able to celebrate with a spectacular display of fireworks. The biggest fireworks display in the nation was the Macy's Ignite the Night in New York City. Take a look. That looked like a great show to me, right?
Out there. That was great.
That was. And if I
show.
can say, it's a pleasure to sit on the anchors set with the two of you. I think this is the first time that's ever happened in Montana. Three beautiful African-American individuals letting the Montana state know what's going on in the world.
Absolutely. Feels good, looks good. Well, thanks so much for joining us tonight. We hope to see you again tomorrow night on Fox 5 News at 9.
Have a good night.